Welcome everyone to the S.H.O.P, the Social Health Positivity. We are in the S.H.O.P, we are in Emerygate, in Chippenham, in Wiltshire, in England, in the world. I'm surrounded by a veritable, I can't say a clutch, can I say? I can't say a clutch of the WI. What do you call a gathering with the WI? Ooh. We've never had one. We've got an OO of the WI for anyone who doesn't know what the Women's Institute is. We can also put details up on this video, just say if they want to get in contact, but you're going to tell us a bit more about it anyway, because I'm intrigued. I do remember coming through, do you know there's, I think it's in Essex, there's a little village called Ugly. And I kid you not, you know what I'm going to say next, yes. You know, the Women's Institute of Ugly, or the Ugly Women's Institute.
That's like the Idle Working Men's Club in Yorkshire.
Really?
Yes.
Not just Yorkshire. Anyhow, right. So, can I ask you to all introduce yourselves, please, you WIs, your institutions of women? I'm scared, a little bit scared, I have to tell you. It's like, you know what I mean, I'm not done.
I'm Michelle Chapman from Fusion Bells WI.
I'm Sue Maddock from Harden Hewish WI.
I'm Anne Scollin from Fusion WI.
I'm Jane Buckle from Lockside WI.
Wow. So already I'm getting the impression, is it like the Rotarians where you have different sectors? Is it like
yes.
Or is it more like a biker gang where you have different sectors and badges and you have to do things for you? How do you get in? What's the in on the Women's Institute?
You have to be a woman.
Yeah.
Well.
Or identify.
Identify as a woman. Right, no, which is fine, good, okay, so you're up to, everything changes, and rightly so.
We do have some transgender.
Of course, absolutely, and rightly so. So, give me just a little brief, who wants to give me a brief, or us collectively, a brief history of what the Women's Institute is, and then individually how you all got involved and why you got involved, because I'm intrigued. Like, we are a community organisation, we work right across the country, some of it internationally as well, mainly with the Harvest to Reach. So I'm really intrigued how you as individuals, you know, organise. Anyway, brief history of the Women's Institute.
The Women's Institute started in this country in 1915 in Anglesey. It started in Canada originally, and in the First World War, and then it grew from there basically. Heaven knows how many groups there are there, but it's very, very popular, and obviously since lockdown we did lose a lot of members, but actually I think now people are really, really on the up again, which is great. Everybody wants to get out and about.
When you say you lost members, people weren't coming out?
Yeah, we didn't
seriously, I want to see his back. I want to see what my face is when you lost members. Oh, hello.
We didn't misplace them, but
no.
They sort of gave up on the WI, but I think people did, you know.
Absolutely, yeah. This is why this place exists, because so many people, when we first was nigh on 2 years ago, people were just so reluctant to come back out, and understandably so.
But each WI is different. We have 4 in Chippenham, 2 morning ones and 2 evening ones. But there are groups that do have APA in the afternoon as well. Not in Chippenham, but other places. They do all sorts of subgroups, you know, skittles, book groups, walking, lunch groups, knitting and nattering, but more nattering than knitting. Well, ours is.
And chomping away.
Chomp and chat.
Sounds amazing, to be fair.
I mean, it's, you know, it's like a lot of groups. You can do as little or as much as you like, so you can be really involved, or you can just turn up once a month.
Right, so it's what would you say the fundamental, the basic essence of it is? What's the point of it?
Friendship.
Fun and friendship.
Fun and friendship. We always
learning something new. Trying different things that you wouldn't even dream that you would do.
Yeah.
Like this week, tomorrow, our group is doing willow weaving.
Wow. Yeah.
So we have different speakers come in and talk to us or do workshops with us.
And on Thursday we're learning self-defence.
Oh, well, there you go.
Excellent.
Completely different.
Just interestingly though, do you just have a women facilitators when you come in? Are they just women talk? So it's not like that. Not that I'm saying there would be anything wrong with that, by the way.
Mainly men, athletes.
Yeah,
Well,
most of it.
see, this is interesting. We've just been talking to another charity that works on the with the railways. What's it called? Trans Wills. Right, and they're going to be celebrating women in the railway industry since whenever. And you think, well, wait a minute, I can't think of any association with a woman. I bet you they probably desire. I bet there's loads that we don't know about, and that has always been the situation, isn't it?
Yeah.
That women don't get. You see it with Nobel Peace laureates. You look who really did the research, and it was a man that was given the laureate, etc., etc.
There is a men's group called the Men's Shed, which is in Chippenham. Yeah.
Table with all that stuff with everything over there. So
And they came and gave us a presentation of what they do and sort of hold our members from men in their lives.
And so I don't know about the men's shed. I don't know if they just have male facility. In a way, it's ludicrous if they did, not them or anyone that just had one sex coming in. But because I think, correct me if you think I'm wrong or not, but correct me anyway, is that women haven't been valued enough for not just recently, for generations. So when we were talking about transgender and all that sort of thing, that's really important. What they call about, how things have progressed. It's always been a bit slower for the females in our.
An example, going back to what you said earlier, was with the discovery of DNA. So Watson and Crick got the Nobel Prize for it, but it was actually Rosalind Franklin who actually worked it out.
There you go. That's who I was talking about, in fact. Yeah, that's 100%. So right across the piece, there's women have been, I don't know what you call it, undervalued. I don't know. There's something in the psyche of men. It goes back right in history. We used to as a civilization. I don't know about England. Worship Diana, the goddess, and then at a certain point in history, women have been subjugated, and then forevermore. I want to start a revolution, but she's based around women. You know what I mean? Because then you know it'll work, don't you? If you're all organised, everybody, I'd be peaceful. Be peaceful, be organised, and there'd be lovely tea. Don't stop it.
And the washing will be done, it'll be ironed and put away.
I do have one thing about this though, because I've often thought, why is it men don't get it about women? Some do, a lot of cultures do. They're not, they go, well, wait a minute. I saw someone on the television the other day say, oh no, about this uprising in Iran. Do you know what I'm talking about? This female, I mean, it's appalling what's been going on there. But that was right. This guy was saying that why it was a crazy thing ever to antagonise women. So you just don't do it. You don't do it because when women put their minds to it, they get it being a man. I mean, right, I'm serious.
You're talking as though we are a load of feminists and we're not. I mean, the ladies in my group are quite happy to be ladies and we don't talk about feminist issues very often. We're quite happy enjoying our lives.
No, I don't think you are. Yeah, exactly. I don't think that you're feminist. I'm saying, in general, though, we're talking, going back to the workshops, that you have people coming in. Do you just have women because it would promote?
But we are getting more women in everything. I mean, it wasn't long ago that we had a queen, we had a woman prime minister. I mean, they're at the top.
One was quite a long one, and one was about 30 seconds. But
Did you bring the thing to this one?
Yes, no, absolutely. They're not necessarily standard representations of women, in my opinion, for better or for worse. In reality, this is why I think this is really interesting. And of course, I don't think you're feminine. I think you're feminine. I don't think you're politically feminist. I get that. But it's about a consciousness. Men should have it in a different way, not about exalting men. It's camaraderie.
We're quite powerful. There are thousands and thousands of WI members throughout the country, and we put ourselves together to run campaigns.
Yes.
I mean, when you look back, it's a long time ago, during the wartime, and What were we doing? Making
Everything.
jam. Yes, and
No,
running
not-
the
no.
country.
Running the country, ammunition.
And then what happened?
Flying.
We were clever enough just to keep quiet when the men came back, flexed their muscles, and wanted to take over again. And we just sat in the background and thought, get on with it, you'll make a mess of it. We're just here to pick up the bits.
This isn't a feminist talk here. This is a realist. Because that's what I'm talking about. The truth be known, and it must be something to do with the male psyche. Of course, that's what happened. We're doing a project that involves Croatia, Ireland, and England, and part of the project is about what women did in wartime. Well, there's nothing that they didn't do, including flying the planes, not into combat in this country, but they flew them between, delivered them, and they sometimes become under attack. It's just, it's incredible. Now I get. So how would you say, therefore, what's the defining thing about the Women's Institute, which isn't necessarily about being feminist, but does resonate with women particularly? What is it then?
It's because we can get together behind a campaign, and we've got people all over the country, and we're all in our own way, in our own quiet female way, we are pushing the campaigns in the background. And things like the plastic soup, we've got a national campaign for ending plastic soup, which is bad for everybody. WI is pushing it.
Perfect.
But we did
another brilliant example is I went to the annual meeting just a couple of years ago, and they had somebody there from one of the prison reform groups, and one of the campaigns that the WI had was around mental health in prisons. And because of the WI, there's now actually mental health officers in the prison community.
Fantastic.
Which is never sort of blasted out, but it's just quietly getting on with it.
We are in the background doing amazing things.
Women
in general, and especially the WI.
Absolutely.
I think for me as well, with the WI, I think it's about the only place where I've been to a group of people and it's not what do you do for a living, it's who you are.
We come from all different backgrounds.
Definitely. And it's the sharing of doing something together.
Big serious issues, but actually for the most part, my group, and I guess yours is the same, when we get together, all we do is laugh and eat.
But there you go. So it's actually that the company and friendship, and in that. That would be enough maybe, but I like the fact that you said it, because actually you don't just sit there and do it. When it's important, you get together and you'll, hence this beautiful thing we've got in the window. Anyone who hasn't seen it, what do you call it? Poppy Cascade, right? So this is not just about the Poppy Cascade, but it's particularly poignant because of this time of year. How many of you good people did it take to do that cascade?
It's well over 50 people among the 4 groups.
Wow.
And what is nice
during lockdown as well.
Because what's nice about it is you didn't have to be one of these people that's always coming out and getting it like the 4 of us, coming out and getting involved. If you're one of these quiet people that prefers to do things at home, they could do poppies at home, so that all our members were able to join in their own way. So all our members, even the quieter ones that prefer not to. So it's terrific.
You've got to go. But listen, thank you. Thank you so much. No, but listen, it's great to have you here, and it's great to have this here. So we really appreciate your input on that one.
Okay then.
Thank you. Lovely. It's like a Women's Institute meeting, like it is one. That's fantastic. Well done, you guys. Right, so. It's amazing. I mean, obviously the reasons behind it as well. What other campaigns have you got that you want to talk about? I mean, it could be anything. It could be Save the Daffodils. I don't care. I'm quite into the idea of giving.
There was the plastic soup. It's the big currant one, isn't it? Keep Britain Tidy was one of the first way back. This people with women with ADHD, am I saying that is right? They were being misdiagnosed and not diagnosed, whereas boys were. And we tried to
that's our current one, isn't it? Autism.
We work on it. Part of what Can Do does.
Make time for mental health.
Right. So you know, as long as we've got this place, you can use this as a place to talk, to give talks, show your campaigns, the other campaigns you've got. So you book it in, Lauren, while we got it, because it's what we do as a community group. But all those campaigns you're talking about, if you listen, you can put the posters up in here and in the windows as well, because we've got also we've got the Royal British Legion, etc., to allow, because there's so many different sorts of people are coming in, and thankfully that's what it's for. That actually people are learning from each other. So I'm thinking we need to up the Women's Institute presence in here. Well, that's there all the time. The men's shed thing's there all the time. I think if there was a table of sorts, show photographs, the campaigns, and put in the calendar about your meeting, but also presentations here for people who want, you know, if you don't, it's like a lot of good things. If you don't know someone involved, if you miss it because you're not on social media, there goes someone who would thrive in a situation like this. So if they knew it was more accessible, not that it's not, or not that you're a secret society, unless you are a secret society. You're not doing a good job about that, are you? Doing this?
I can't keep my mouth shut.
No, it's great. That's the bit I think is important. Exactly.
This is Alison.
Alison.
She's on our committee.
How lovely. It's fantastic, this cascade. But we're actually talking about the wider reach of the WI and how amazing it is, and how we can, with Can Do, promote from our perspective, because the people that come in here are, well, as I say, from all walks of life, but for them to come across and talk to people and go, oh right, I never knew that, and they'll see that in the window. Loads of people commented last year. The ex-soldiers that work here were absolutely so proud that it was here, and we are. Where was it going to go before it was here? Was there somewhere else?
We were just looking for somewhere.
We were just looking for somewhere, actually, we thought somewhere on the high street, but we just couldn't get
And I was like,
access.
Can Do would be fabulous.
Yes,
It's
just-
right in Edmund Gate.
100%.
No, I just thought of something. Can I tell you this?
Yeah.
On Pewsham, the street names are named after soldiers who died in World War II.
Wow.
And so a couple of years ago, we made posters and got them encapsulated so that we could leave them out in the open. So each street where the name is, we went round and we tied the poster to showing this guy's guy, you know, his basic details.
Yeah.
Who died so
I know.
Yes.
But anyway, so all the people in Pewsham were walking around saying, what's this on the street name? And there was one on it, there were 39.
Wow.
And people love it.
Where's all that stuff going?
Well, it's going to be put out again this year.
Cool.
If
Where
you
was-
wander around Pewsham...
Yeah, no, that's great. Why don't we have an exhibition in here as well? Can you duplicate it? As in, either photographs of the street signs with them in here, so people know. Because if you don't go to Pewsham, you'll never know this, and I wouldn't have known it.
But would other people be interested? I mean, it's fabulous. People who...
Chippenham from Chippenham. Yeah. 100%. I love this. Is what I'm saying. This is what listen to me. Yeah.
I went on the Commonwealth War Graves Commission walk at Chippenham Cemetery a few weeks ago, and Rumble, as in Rumble Dean, is buried there. So I said, I've actually found one of the Pewsham street names.
Right.
And the other people had no idea.
Right.
And they were
This is
absolutely
why.
fascinated.
This is why. So therefore, either we do
idea, isn't it?
do a tribute to it in here. So it's like, that's to the Bridge Centre, the demise of the Bridge Centre over there. It's got poetry and photographs. We could clear a space or we can put it wherever, and then people come in and they just get that information that I never knew. And I've lived here for, well, what am I, 22 now, so I think I came with 20 stone. 106, take away 12. I'm 40 to add 7. Right, I never knew that. I never knew that about Pewsham, and I think it's one of those interesting things that totally ties into your cascade, because it's to do with war and it's very specific to do with Chippenham. So I think it's great. So I think we should. Am I putting you to loads more trouble here? To do even more. I just think I don't know how we would do it.
Well, why don't we use one of the walks to, or one of a couple of us could go around one afternoon and
take
photos.
But the thing is, it was in the local paper. Perhaps you don't read it.
That's the problem.
Well, here's the thing. I used to write for it for years. I used to write for it for years. No, I think you're right. So I'm saying as many different places, and that's about social media, isn't it? Really? That real social media, not propaganda or newspapers or not newspapers. It's like whatever form. So if someone comes in here, they're happy to come in here. They see that information, they've learned something great, so they know about this and that, whatever. And if they talk to these wonderful volunteers, they'll know even more about stuff. That's why we need I think, a WI presence in here, like the Man Shed. And people just come up, they can read about it, pamphlets, flyers, whatever. But the talks and the interpersonal stuff is fantastic. Because that's the nugget of it, isn't it? But if you just did it, as I said, that would be lovely. Fair play to you. But the fact that you go out your way to actually help individuals or organisations who may have nothing to do with you at all is a massive tribute. And more power to your elbows and more power to groups that do that. Right, let's move this on to, let's get the next time you see us, hopefully, this will be on whenever. So it'll have to be the November, for the we'll do it for remembrance. Let's do it the week before so that we can tell people. Well, we'll put this out the week before, and let's see if we can get that exhibition in here about the wall dead from Chippenham, and maybe get some leaflets and flyers. Thank you all so much for being part of our community and the wonderful functioning members of our community. Thanks for all you do as individuals, but thank you to the WI as well.
Thank you for hosting our cascade.
What sort of organisation would we be if we didn't honour our dead like the rest?
Right.
Do you know what I mean? One of them ones. Anyway, thank you so much. It's a wrap. Nice one, Lauren.